Welcome to another Friendship Together episode. I'm Pastor Matt, pastor at Friendship Church, and here at Friendship, we've been going through the Read the Gospel in 90 Days plan together. We're in the process of finishing up the book of Matthew, and this last week, we came across a passage that I used to find confusing, and now I find it deeply moving and inspirational. I wanted to share that with you. It comes in Matthew 22. And Jesus is having conflict with the Pharisees because they want to kill him, and they come to trap him in his words. And the trap that they set for him is to ask him whether or not it is lawful to pay taxes to Caesar. Now how is asking whether or not it's lawful to pay taxes to Caesar a trap? It's a trap because if Jesus says, no, you shouldn't pay taxes to Caesar, then he is immediately in trouble with the Roman authorities. But if he says, yes, it is lawful to pay taxes to Caesar, he is offending a large number of the people who follow him. A large number of the people who follow Jesus were frustrated that Israel were held captive to Rome. They didn't think they should be paying taxes to Caesar. And more than that, they thought that because the image of Caesar was on the coins by which you paid your taxes, that it was actually an act of idolatry to pay those taxes to Rome. And so Jesus here has to make a decision. Am I going to say it's lawful to pay taxes or not? Will the Romans come after me, or will the Zealots, who make up a large number of my followers from Galilee, be offended by me? Either way, Jesus could be in a lot of trouble with someone. So here's how Jesus answers this. Jesus, aware of their malice, aware of the malice desire to do harm that the Pharisees had, said, "Why put me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin for the tax." And they brought him a denarius, and Jesus said to them, "Whose likeness and inscription is on this?" And they said, "Caesar's." Then he said to them, "Therefore render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." When they heard it, they marveled, and they left him and went away. I remember growing up and hearing this story and thinking, what in the world does Jesus mean? Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. Are there certain coins that belong to Caesar and certain coins that belong to God? I didn't know what he was getting at, and I didn't know how what he said made the people who heard him marvel and walk away with their mouths hanging open. I think the key here is the coin. Jesus asked them specifically to give him a coin, and he holds up that coin with the likeness or image of Caesar on it. And he says, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's. That is, render to Caesar the things that are appropriately are his because they have his image or his likeness on them. But then he says, render to God the things that are God's. Well, what's that? Well, what is it that bears God's image or likeness? Genesis chapter 1 is very clear that it is people, men and women, who bear the image and the likeness of God. And so with this in mind, Jesus holds up this coin that has the image, the likeness of Caesar on it, and says, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, the things that have his image on them. But render to God the things that belong to God. What belongs to God? We do. We're the ones with his image and his likeness. This is an amazing teaching in which Jesus takes this trap that the Pharisees set and says, listen guys, pay your taxes, absolutely. But more importantly, recognize you belong to God. And your life and all that you are should be lived to him. And it's a wonderful reminder for us. The Gospels are filled with so much rich understanding that Jesus gives us as the Son of God in how we are to live life. I want to encourage you, if you haven't been tracking with us in this 90-day gospel reading, this is the week that we transition from the Gospel of Matthew to the Gospel of Mark. And so go on the website and look at those dates and start in Mark with us. Maybe you missed Matthew. Okay, let's start in Mark and do Mark and Luke and John with us. We'd love to have you on this journey with us as we read about Jesus and worship him in what we see in the Gospels.